We will not recover from this. Dan Stein is the president of FAIR. He joins us to walk through the numbers. Dan Stein, thank you so much for coming on. 5.5 million? That's almost hard to believe.
Well, you have to remember that at any given point in time, there are hundreds of millions of people on the move around the world. And according to international surveys, 2.5 billion people who would like to move to a handful of countries, including the United States. Joe Biden has turned his back on the American people and our borders. He has a DHS secretary who not only lies, but believes he can improvise, make up immigration law by using the parole power, which Congress has said is very limited, to turn around and let in millions and millions of people under parole, which is a fraud on the American people, with the expectation that someday, if they can't make an asylum claim, maybe they'll be removed back to their home country. This is a fraud on the American people. It's a total lie. But the worst part is hundreds of millions of more people around the world see what's going on, and they're really, really interested in making plans to move here. Unless the Biden, and for the first time, we see an administration that doesn't pivot. There's no pivot. There's no response. Biden's never been to the border. Harris has never actually looked at the situation in the border. Mayorkas simply lies about Border Patrol agents whipping. I mean, he's turned his back on his own Border Patrol. How can Mayorkas possibly conduct operations as Secretary of Homeland Security when he doesn't have the respect of anyone working in immigration enforcement? The Republicans have an agenda. Come January, the American people are going to be looking very closely at what Republicans do, because they have a commission from the American people. Parole has to be shut down. Congress has repeatedly tried to stop this kind of abuse by unprincipled executives. When you have a president of the United States who will not carry out his fundamental functions under the Constitution to defend our borders, it's no different than failing to defend the United States from military invasion. Say the Chinese decide that Hawaii is somehow part of China, and Biden calls Hunter and says, don't worry about it. That's an impeachable offense. Or conducting foreign affairs, or minting counterfeit money. This is counterfeit immigration, undermining all the limitations in immigration law Congress has carefully crafted over many decades.
I don't understand, if you got 5.5 million people coming in less than 2 years, why the governors of Arizona and Texas, both Republicans, haven't sent the National Guard to seal the border. That seems like a really simple. No one's ever explained that to me.
Well,
do you know why?
Remember, Tucker, this is what the ACLU wants. It's why they sued the Trump administration hundreds of times. The Southern Poverty Law Center, the National Council of, MALDEF, and the other organizations for years have fought to bring about total border anarchy and chaos. This is the objective. They say states can have no authority to implement immigration law. And so unless you have state and local cooperation with the federal government, the situation will only deteriorate.
It's such an act of hostility toward the United States. I mean, only people who hated a country would do this to the country. I really believe that. I'm amazed by what you found. Thank you for bringing us those numbers. Dan Stein,
Thank you.
Fair.